What's up, traders? This is Marco. We have Friday, the 25th of August, and I have another bar by bar for you today. In front of you, you can see the 2000 tick chart, and this is the ES future, and I'm trading with the Ninjatrader platform. And the only indicator that I'm using is the 21 EMA, which you can see here by this pink line. I'm coming to the computer around 7:30 in the morning, and this is what I saw. So prices were trending above the EMA, so I was looking for some potential uptrend structure. You can see prices are pushing above and staying above. So I was looking for some uptrend, and I found this trend channel working higher here. We have now a potential first break. So what I like to do is always draw the shorter term trend channels, and I'm zooming in here a bit so that you can see it a bit better. And you can see we have a break of this structure and a retest of the lows. And also we are looking for a retest of the extremes. So a second entry long would be in our bias to retest the extremes. And here we get our second entry long. The thing here is only this is an inside bar of this, and we are below the EMA. Ideally, I would like to see it above the EMA. But if you are trading inside bars and you are in general a bit more aggressive than me, then this is a setup to take. Second entry long within the uptrend, first break, and we want to see a retest of the extremes. And you can see that would have worked out nicely. Now we have a new high here in play, so a new extreme. So this uptrend here played out by now, and we're pushing even higher a bit. There is some potential short setup here, but this looks congestive and we could get another leg up. So I don't like taking a short here. I mean, we have to consider that this uptrend here is already played out, but market moves in two, and this could be the first leg, so a second could follow. I would like to see a bit more confirmation, something like a lower high and some space back to the EMA to take a short here. But I think this is a bit too early and it's congestive, so we have to skip this. And you can see prices are going sideways here. So I think that there is a range here in play, and I was drawing it like this. So we can check if the range highs and lows are consistent, and we can trade off them. And now what we can see, there is a lower high coming up here, but the thing is, this lower high is in the middle of the range, and I would like to see it ideally closer to the top of the range to take a short back inside the range. And taking a short here right into the EMA and right into the support, I think is very aggressive and high risk. So yeah, even though this is a nice setup bar for a lower high, I think we have to skip this. It would have worked at least for a scalp. Consider your targets are ideally like one tick before the range low or one tick below the range top. And yeah, that would have worked. But as I said, like taking a trade in the middle of the range is very risky. And you can see prices are moving within this range here. We're getting some nice higher low here right now. But the thing is the same as here. We are in the middle of the range, and you can see this time it would have not worked. You would be into the trade, and before testing the range top, they would have stopped you out. So this is always risky. Same with this one here. It's simply too close to the lows again. And you can see prices are breaking the range, and I want to extend the range a bit to the lows here. I like it much better now. And you can see prices form some downtrend structure, and also in ranges like this you can find mini trends working higher or lower, so we can also play them like it. And we have a first break of this potential downtrend structure, so maybe there's a retest of the lows. This is congestion here, and this looks very much like a news event. At 9 o'clock there was an high impact news, and you can see from the wicks here on the top and on the bottom, this was a news event, and we stay out of trades anyway around news. But still, we get a break and retest of the lows of the shorter term channel, but really no setup here so far. Now trending higher, having a break here, retest of the highs. So maybe we see some nice lower high back inside the range. This bar is too big, don't like to take. It's like 17 ticks. The risk is way too huge to take a scalp back inside the range. So we have to skip this, but it would have worked, as you can see. And prices are trending lower here. So maybe we can draw some shorter term channel. Something like this looks good. With a first break, retest of the lows. I don't to take a short here because this is a bit congestive and it's in the middle of the range, the same problem as we had before. Retest is done here, and we are not coming back inside the range. If they wanted it to come back inside the range, then this try here would have succeeded, but we are not succeeding. We are going lower here. So there is maybe a bigger structure in play. Let me test this structure here with a potential break here already, retest of the extremes. We have to see what's going on. There is some support coming up here, so that could be the retest of the lows already. Maybe we see a bounce, a nice bounce here back inside the range. We get a bounce, but no setup or signal bar here. And you can see there's a shorter term channel trending higher. So this we can play and maybe extend the range a bit. And this is interesting now because it's not exactly a failure from the count, because like you have a new low here. So first entry, second entry, long failure. But you can see if you count it like this, like a new low here, so you have your first entry, second entry short, and if it takes higher than this bar, then it would be a second entry short failure, but it's also going long directly into this old range bottom here, which was the support, and many times you will see that a support level will turn as a resistance level, and it's a bit congestive here. That's, let's say, the trick or the key of nice failures. They want to fool as many traders as possible. So you have to consider for yourself if this is aggressive, this failure here. I will mark it for now, because if prices manage to take one tick above these highs here, then you can expect some explosive move higher, because there are a lot of short traders that jumped into here and they were sure that we are leaving the range now. Now we're coming back and you see this resistance here of this old range support. So they're jumping into this trade more and more. That's why you see this wick here. And if they can now turn this and take one tick higher, then all these shorts have to cover their positions. And notice we have an uptrend working higher here with a first break, no retest of the extremes yet. So we still have some arguments to take along here, as long as this uptrend here is not played out. But for sure, I would say this is more aggressive because it's right in congestion. And you can see after this bar here, most probably you would cancel your trade, because here we have an inside bar of this and it's very congestive now. So I would not blame you for this. I think I would also cancel my trade now. But if you let it play out with the first break and no retest yet, then you see a retest here and all the shorts are covering. And this is very typical for such situations when many traders think that we are going lower here and they turn it, then they have to cover all like these short sellers here have to cover their positions to not being into a losing position or just to save the profits. And we're going higher here. Can see going much higher here. This is very strong bullish. This move higher here, and we're breaking the structure. So right now there will be a lot of covering and profit taking. So we can also draw some shorter term channel here. Coloring the channel. No setup so far. Right now it's like a bit messy. We don't know what's going on exactly. And when we are not sure what's going on, we just skip everything until we have a clear structure. Now we have a first break of this downtrend here and a potential retest of the lows, which would be done by here. But if you argue to take long here, I think it's too early. We need further confirmation, especially after such a move up and such a move down where prices are heading to. So cannot take anything here. We have to wait. And this is interesting because we are bouncing here right off the EMA. We are not touching the EMA even a bit before. So we have to see what's going on. I would not consider taking a lower high here because it's right into this support. So we have to wait and see. And what I notice right now, it looks a bit like a trend. You can see like we are making here lower highs all the time, but we need a bit more of price action. Maybe if we connect like this, maybe this one is already valid, because right now we're forming here a lower high without like testing and touching the EMA. So we have to see. I think it's too aggressive taking a short here because it's right into the lows, and in general this looks congestive here. We would like to wait prices to come back to our key entry point and the EMA, and when both are lining each other, then I feel more confident in taking a short. But I think it's way too aggressive taking a short here because we are that far away from the EMA. And prices go lower here. Now we get some potential second entry short, but prices made a low here, making a new low here. So we reset the count from here, and we would like to see ideally like 2 legs back to the EMA. You could argue this is the first leg, pull back second leg. Yes, that's right. But yeah, from the count, this is no second entry, but only a first entry. So we're waiting for a pullback. Now we're getting a pullback, but the second entry is already triggered by this bar here. So no setup, also no lower high. We have a first break of this potential downtrend here. You can see first break. So we would like to see a retest of the lows. Cannot take a short here because this is again too far away from the EMA. Same what we had here and also here. And we are getting some support here. Let's see. Okay, maybe it's time to draw a range. Something like this looks good. And see if we can play the range. We get a breakout here. Most breakouts fail. So I would not wonder if we're coming back inside. And this is interesting now because you see this range here. We had the first break, new low. Now we're breaking this range. Most breakouts fail in the first attempt. And we are getting a nice higher low here, back inside the range. Unfortunately, directly into the EMA. But in ranges, the EMA has not such an important role as in trends. So maybe considering taking a long here to test the other side of the range. I really like this bar, how it sets up here. But the thing is, we have a shorter term downtrend working lower here. Could argue that we have a break new low all in one candle. That's right. And this would be a higher low. So maybe aggressive setup here from the context, this downtrend here played out, but the problem is we pushed like strongly below the EMA, and like you can see, we cannot even like come back above the EMA. So the bias right now is bearish, and then I have some big problems always taking trades in the different direction. So notice if you take this setup, it's only because we are playing this range here, and this shorter term channel here, the smaller channel here, had a break, a new low. So just a maximum for a scalp, but this is an aggressive setup. You would be into the trade and maybe we get a stop. No, unfortunately not, or fortunately not, as I'm saying. Getting now a potential failure, but this is in the middle of the range and this is always risky. You can see there is some resistance here. So taking a long right above here is too risky. Also 18 ticks. So yeah, this one here as an aggressive long for a retest of the range top. When we're getting our retest here, maybe you can see there is a shorter term channel working higher. First break, new high. We're bouncing off this range resistance here with a nice bearish bar. But again, this is close to the middle of the range. If this bar finished a bit higher here, maybe to consider a short, but in the middle of the range, yeah, it's simply high risk here. And you can see prices are dropping much lower here. This is what I meant with I don't like to take longs when the bias, the overall bias is bearish, because your chances are much higher if you stay within the bias and just stick to the shorts. When you see something like this, we're breaking the EMA for the first time, going above a bit, but then you can see another strong second move lower. So still we are looking for more shorts within our overall bias, getting a potential break, retest of the lows, nothing to take here, some potential support coming up, and simply observing now, dropping lower. There's really no structure that I can find here. It's another, let's say, range. Also, this looks like a range, so maybe it's just like a huge range here. I have to check how it's like going further. Really, there's nothing that I can see that is worth to take. Also, I'm not sure about the exact structure, because this trend played out that we get a second move lower now and making new lows here, finding some support now. And now we are getting a higher low, but the problem I have is, look at this resistance here. Like prices drop below and is taking this line here as resistance level because we're dropping lower, coming back, prices get rejected, coming back again, getting rejected. It's not like a clear rejection, like for example, this candle here looks like it's like a tiny rejection, and now we're forming a higher low above the EMA. So there could be a reversal now, but I really don't like taking a long in all this resistance here. So I'm skipping this. You can see the bar that is following after this, that also other traders are not sure, because it's like going up here and pulling back. But yeah, eventually it's going higher. So we can draw our channel here, going higher. First break. So there is a potential second entry long. We have a break, new low of this structure here, and now we are getting our second entry long. But the problem also, it's like congestive here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 bars are stacking up, and with this strong bearish bar, I'm really not sure if they want to form, for example, a second leg lower here. And if you draw, for example, this downtrend here in a like really good way, then you have a first break of this downtrend and possible a new low with this bar here. But in all this congestion, I really don't like to take a long already because really how this sets up, I don't like this bearish bar. It's almost perfectly finishing bearish, and then you have this setup. So this looks like a trap bar, and yeah, it's way too sideways, and you can see even with this candle it's getting more stacked up. So if you took this trade and you see that it's like not going anywhere, try to get out on a break even, because yeah, it can always like stop you out, and it would have stopped us out with this move lower here. So we have to wait and see, and this is now happening what I was thinking. We are getting a second leg lower here. This was the first leg, then a pullback. Second leg, we even go a bit further than that. And now I would be okay with trying to find some long setup to see a retest of this shorter term uptrend here where we had the first break, but it's simply not forming. This is below the EMA, so really nothing to consider. And now prices are pushing higher to the last highs that we had, and even higher than that. So I'm drawing this shorter term channel now that is coming up here, and maybe even we have some uptrend going higher, but we need a bit more price action for that. But I like how this like midline is working with the printed price action. We have like 3 confirmations on the low side here, 2 confirmations on the top side. So I want to see what's going on when prices are testing this level now. And you can see prices are respecting this level. So maybe this uptrend here is in play. We are getting a first break of this shorter term uptrend here. You can see this is the first break. First entry long, also pulling back to the EMA and the midline of this uptrend. So maybe, okay, this is an inside bar, but it can be also a nice second entry long. You can see there is also some support here, and also we have a couple of levels aligning with each other. We have the midline of this channel, we have the support here, and we have our EMA. All this 3 together with the fact that we have an uptrend working higher with a first break but no retest of the extreme. I like this second entry long. Personally, I will not take it because I don't trade inside bars, but many of you do. So if you have no problem with inside bars, this is definitely a setup to consider. This second entry long, prices made a new high, first entry pullback, second entry long. And you can see it would have worked. And now prices go even a bit higher. It's a question if we have an overshoot here or if this is just a bigger channel structure. I will increase it for now and test it as big as channel structure. You can see this top line here is getting tested and prices bouncing off it. So I'm drawing this shorter term channel now. We wait now for prices to come back to our key entry points. This is the EMA or our trend channel to take a trade, or better to find some potential setups. This is very congestive now. I would not take a short and also not take a long here. This is like super stacked up. And maybe let me check if this structure here looks good. We have a new high, first confirmation, second confirmation, but this is only a first entry short. So maybe waiting for some better setup, some second entry, something like this. Getting a second entry here, but this is like, again, below the EMA far away and yeah, not taking this. And now it's interesting because we are breaking our potential uptrend here for the first time. And yeah, also overshooting here after this break. So this downtrend could be played out. And prices are going higher again, now above the EMA. So after the first break of this uptrend, let me color this in gray. We want to see a retest of the extremes. Notice that prices are pushing higher here, and you can see all this like smaller structures working and playing out the same way as bigger structures. Uptrend working higher, first break, retest of the highs. So getting now a higher low here, but we have already a new high in place here of the shorter term channel, and this looks a bit stacked. So skipping this, and maybe there is even a range now. Let's test. There is some confirmation of the range top, but cannot take. We still want to see a retest of this gray uptrend here. So our bias right now is still to the top side. So we're looking for longs. Pulling back, and this is a triple test of this range support. And I must say, I really like this setup here because yeah, we're getting a triple confirmation. Price median low here, tested once, tested twice. Nice bullish bar. And still we want to see a retest of the extreme. So I think fine with going long here. There's enough space to the range top. So it would be enough for a scalp, would be into the trade, and you would be out already. And you can see prices are pushing higher here and making a new high. So this uptrend had a break, a couple legs to a new high, and played out by now. So now we want to see what are prices doing. Usually prices go a bit sideways or reverse. So we want to see that some structure is being confirmed, what we just said. And yeah, prices are going simply sideways here. There's no real setup that I can see. Going lower here, but we are breaking the range for the first time and leaving the range now to the lower side. Most breakouts fail, so prices coming back. If you consider this as a higher low, I'm with you, especially if you draw this channel like this. You have the first break, retest of the extremes, then higher low. But look at this bar, the signal bar. It's not perfect. It has like 2 ticks back here of being perfect. If this was a perfect bar, maybe considering a risky long here, at least back to the EMA or back inside the range. But with this signal bar, I want to see something better to take along here. It would have worked, but it doesn't matter. Prices go back inside the range, and this is a very strong bull bar, but taking along with not enough space here even for a scalp. I think it's way too risky, and prices go sideways and sideways. Maybe there's a bigger range in play, something like this. Have to see and test. Prices respecting the range top and coming back here, drawing the shorter term channel, having a first break here, retest of the extremes, and going lower now. And this is live price action now, so maybe there's even a bigger structure in play, but in any case there would be a break, new low already. So yeah, that's it for today's trading day. Let me zoom out here a bit and show you the whole picture. So yeah, all in all, prices went up, big down. So this looks like a huge range day, but of course with a couple of trends within. We spoke about different setups and the situations, and yeah, there were also like a lot of inside bars and congestion areas, something like this here. But yeah, I hope you had a great trading week and a trading day today. I wish you a great weekend, and yeah, of course, hope that you had some nice profits. If you want to read the chart that I am doing, so you can check our homepage on topichtrading.com. There's a very nice detailed course how to read price action, and just check it out. And if you like it, you can consider it. Wish you a great weekend and speak to you next week. Thank you.